Hi, boys and girls. It's Miss Manning. We're going to be learning Module 5, Lesson 12, where we're learning to be able to find the area of rectangles by using a ruler to measure and record the lengths of the sides of a rectangle. Now, I recognize that some of you might not have a ruler at home. I was able to do it with a tape measure, but I also included in the video the measurements of each of the rectangles. So we're using the skills that we learned yesterday of tiling, also known as the area method. So we have to remember to find the area of a rectangle, we take the length times the height. And also when we are solving it with the area model, or that we need to use the area model when we're multiplying those fractions and especially those mixed numbers. So decompose your numbers into whole numbers and fractions, multiply them into partial products, and then add them back together. So for our problem set today, we're supposed to be measuring the rectangle to the nearest 1/4 inch or 1/4 of an inch. So I found a ruler, but I also know that some of you might not have rulers at home. You might have tape measures. You might have something that you can find to measure with, but if not, I'm going to measure them for you. So I'm going to line it up here on my ruler, and it is equal to, here's 1 inch. It is equal to 2 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and label this 2 inches. And then if I measure the width of this shape, I have 1 inch here, 2 inches is here, 3 inches is here. So it's halfway in between. This is 2.5 inches on this side. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do the area model. So I need to decompose the 2.5. So now I have a length on this rectangle of 2 and a height of 2, which is 2 times 2, which equals 4. And then down here, I'm taking 1/2, which is my height, times my length, which is 2, which gives me 1 times 2, which is 2, divided by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So now remember, to find the total area of this rectangle, I have to put my partial products, which is 4 and 1, back together. So rectangle A has a total area of 5 inches squared. Now for the other one, I'm going to try measuring it with the tape measure. I think it's going to be easier for you guys to see. So I'll do it about right here. You can see 1 inch is here, 2 inches is there. So this one has a length of 2. This side here has 1 inch right about halfway through and 2 inches here. So this is 2 by 2, which makes this a square. For my next shape, I'll use the ruler again. Maybe you'll be able to see it. So this has a length. Here's 1, here's 2, and here's 3. So 3 is too big. Here's 2.5 right here. So it's halfway in between 2.5. So if I think of a half is the same as 2/4. So that would make this line 1/4, 2/4. This is 3/4. So it's 2 3/4. And this one doesn't look like a square, so I'm going to have a different length on this side. I'll line it up at 0. Here's 1 inch, here's 2 inches. So it's 2 inches. Don't forget that these are all in inches, so you should be labeling your areas inches squared like we did here. All right, for this one, I'm going to measure it, and 1 is right here, 2 is right here, and 2.5 is over here. So it's in between that 2/4 or 2 halves. So it's actually 2 1/4. And the length of this shape, you look here, here's 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch. Here's 3.5, so it's halfway in between that 3 and that 3 2/4, so that makes that 3 1/4. So for this last one here on D, you get a chance to do a mixed number times a mixed number. Don't forget we're doing the area model where we're decomposing the whole number with the fractions to multiply them. So for problem set E and F, let's go ahead and measure those. Make sure you're on the inches side. So 1 inch is here, 2 inch, then 3 inches is way down here, so that's too long. So it's halfway in between 2 and 3, which makes this length 2.5 inches. And this side is not quite 1. If you can see, here's 1 inch all the way over here. So this is actually, it looks like it's, here's a half of an inch. So it looks like it's 3/4 of an inch. 3/4. For figure F, 4 inches is right here. So it's not quite 4 inches. If you can see, 3 inches is back here. Here's 3.5. So it's going to be 3 3/4 inches long. And it has a height of, here's 1 inch way down here. So it has a height of 1/2 of an inch. So there's your side measurements for all of your shapes. With your exit ticket today, I went ahead and labeled your shape for you so you can do your exit ticket. But remember when you are solving this one that you need to remember all of the rules about adding fractions, multiplying a whole number times a fraction, multiplying fractions, all of those skills that we worked on yesterday. Review the video from yesterday if you need a refresher, but don't forget to break that into an area model. Thanks. See you again soon, guys.